For some time, we've been treated to an outpouring of what can only be described as anti-Easter literature, specifically a cult favorite tactic used by the cults. But even the pagan world and Christians are telling us how the holiday, in this case Easter, is pagan in origin and bad, and should not be celebrated by Christians. These opinions are backed up with some very rather unusual and curious fantasies masquerading as historical facts. The following videos are intended only to re-examine popular historical claims of the origins of Easter, to provide further discussions concerning some of the so-called facts offered in some anti-Easter publications.
Now, back to Tammuz. Tammuz gets killed by a wild boar. So every year, in commemoration of celebrating the death and the deification of Tammuz, which became the son of God, the son of his father, they would set aside 40 days prior to Easter, and they would fast and they would pray, and they would have a giant feast on Easter Sunday where they would celebrate the death and the resurrection of Tammuz. And guess what they would have for dinner on that Sunday evening? You got it, Easter ham. They would kill a boar in commemoration to Tammuz, who was killed by a wild boar.
As we've already seen here in an earlier section, there is no connection between Easter and Ishtar. Obviously, eating ham on Easter also cannot be connected to Ishtar, so where did it come from? Well, we first need to correct the claim that Tammuz was killed by a pig. Tammuz was a shepherd, and his death was usually ascribed to raiders from the netherworld, which attacked him and took his sheep. The claim that he was killed by a pig or boar is something I find in no scholarly source, but it is repeated again and again in amateur sources. Usually without any references, much less an account of the original story. Possibly, these people are confusing Tammuz with another deity, Adonis. Part of Hislop's logic was that all of these gods were really the same god.